But if we do require an ID, that's when we have to attack the ID situation. Okay. To get a social security card, you just need to be born here or become a naturalized citizen or be in the process of getting your citizenship, right? We issue social security cards every day, all day anyway. So it shouldn't be that hard that we know who's a citizen and who's not a citizen. They go to wherever office is convenient to them, get their state ID. Their state ID, let's say it lasts 10 years. You ain't got to renew it, but once every 10 years. Boom, we've just helped a lot of people. The problem is Republicans or conservatives, to be more accurate, they are against, they say you need to have state ID and then they get in the way of you getting an ID. Right? They say, hey, you should just vote. Just show up and vote. And then they stop you from voting.
And they're the party that tends to be against same day voters registration.
And now they were the main ones for mail-in ballots. They're the main ones against them now. So it's all for them. They know that they are a dwindling group.
Yeah.
They hold financial power. They hold social power, but they don't hold numerical power. And that's where politics gets in the
And
way.
here's another segment we always forget about. What about felons? In some states, Indiana, ex felons can vote. In Florida, they passed a law for ex felons to vote, but Ron DeSantis decided,
That
he
doesn't
just
serve me, so we're going to overturn
yeah,
that.
we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't
Right.
matter if the people of Florida went in droves of numbers and said yes. I'll just do what I
And
want.
and what's so wild about what they did in Florida, and they're doing this in various places, they instituted by it's just by another name, but they just instituted a poll tax, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
this thing went on the ballot that said that you were had a felony, you should be able to appeal to get your voting rights back because we believe people should get their voting rights back
And then
after they
there's the
serve their
cost of
term.
it.
And then they turn around and say, yeah, you got to pay back all your fees. You got to pay
Yep.
these
Yep.
penalties. You got to cross this hurdle. And then after all of you jumping over all these hoops, I, as the governor, get to make the individual decision if you get to have that vote, your vote back.
Or
What the?
this is the kind of thing that I keep telling people. This is what happens when you don't vote. This is what
Agreed.
happens when you sit back, you elect garbage legislators, whether they're Democrat or Republican, because they're both garbage. And trust and believe. If we don't show up because I'm voting third party because no way I vote Democrat or Republican. But if we do nothing and if we don't educate people about this, tell them, hey, yeah, I know the Cat Williams interview was funny, but look, for 5 minutes, just give me 5 minutes of your time and let me explain why this gerrymander, what legislators are doing to keep you from voting. They're telling you that they want you to vote. But what they're doing in the background is telling me that they don't want you to vote. Could you imagine if that 40% of Americans that didn't vote came to vote? Oh, it
Yeah,
would
I
be.
can. And you know how we saw it? We saw a glimpse of that.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Trump pulled a bunch of non-voters out of the woodworks and
Yep.
brought them in. So it what I wish would be because I don't have the voice, I don't have the reach, but that what you just said, Tracy, is so important. We have to back a little bit.
Stop watching
One
Club
of the
Shay Shay.
things, well, I don't watch that anyway, but that's a whole nother story. But we one of the things that frustrates me when I talk to people about politics is they'll say, "Well, you're just saying why I should. You're just trying to scare me, right? This guy's better than that guy. Oh, right? No, yeah." And I'm like, okay, that's a very rudimentary way of understanding things. I need you to kind of like step up a little bit. I mean, I don't say that to them. I
Right.
find a different approach than that. But
Mhm.
that's what they're doing. But the reality is, yes, people need those talking heads like us, yes, we need to tell you why you should be afraid. We should tell you why Trump getting into office again is a horrible, horrible thing. And that even if you don't believe that the American democracy works properly, which I firmly do not believe the American democracy works properly and that has ever truly been, it is still something that needs to be preserved compared to the alternative, right? And people who want to do like a childish way of looking at things say that, well, it's always greater or lesser evil. Yeah, but you know what? That's life. It's always you're choosing the lesser evil. That's literally, when's the last time you had a chance to choose good? Okay? We're complex creatures in complex situations. There is nothing that's going to be clean good. Everything is going to be mixtures and all of that stuff. But after saying, hey, Trump wants to suspend the Constitution. Hey, Trump wants to, become a dictator. Hey, Trump has actually led a coup against his own government. Hey, all these things, you got to say them because it's the truth and it's very serious. And it should be enough to convince anybody out there that this is a problem. And I don't care how you feel about anything else. I don't care how you feel about the political system. I don't care how you feel about the parties. I don't care. That is a problem. Okay, you should do any and everything necessary not to let that guy get back in office just for those reasons. 1 second. But it's not enough. You must also show people, how does it benefit you to vote? How does it actually help you? How does your vote impact your school board? How does your vote impact your local sheriff's department? How does your vote affect the judges in criminal justice reform in your city and your state? These are the small wins with major impact that people need to be taught so that they can see why their vote's important. But if the only thing you do is go about how scared you should be about the federal government that people already think is a mess, you're fighting uphill. I'm sorry, Tracy.
All I was going to say is we need to stop gaslighting democracy. And this is what I mean. First of all, we don't live in a democracy. I'll explain what I mean here in a second. If I hear one more time the Democratic Party say democracy is in danger, we do not. I want the Democratic Party to listen to me really good. We do not live in a democracy. If we lived in a democracy, we wouldn't use the Electoral College to pick our president. We wouldn't use
That's
it.
not true. That's not fully accurate. Democracy just means that the people have a voice.
But we have no voice. Technically,
yes,
if nobody voted for president, we would still get the Electoral College picking.
No, because if nobody voted for the president, you won't have any votes for the Electoral College to work with electors. Because the states have to assign the electors based on the vote. But I get what you're saying, right? The Electoral College, we don't have what?
If you live in one of those states that says, yeah, whoever wins the popular vote, we're going to just give them the presidency. But
you just said that they weren't going to vote, though.
No, I said in this example that I'm using. I've lived under 2 elections where the person that won the popular vote did win the presidency. 2 times that's happened. You would think, because it happened to Democrats 2 times, you would think they would say, hey, wait a minute. Now we keep getting screwed on this Electoral College thing. Why don't we look at a way to get people engaged? Nope.